Today I am here to talk to you about developing a methodology we very much require and need to meet the future requirements of project management, especially in the field of construction and in general engineering. Although project management has started going agile, but agile is historically associated with software development, and it was invented for software development, but it has now been felt that this methodology, this mindset, rather, it is not a methodology, this mindset is affecting all the walks of life, and all projects running in any industry would require to be agile. As far as lean is concerned, we already have felt the need for lean in manufacturing and construction long ago, and a lot many construction companies are already being being involved in lean construction. As far as the combination or marriage of lean and agile is concerned, I do not think anyone has done so far in construction industry. In software, yes, we do have a lot many methodologies which use both lean as well as agile in various several kinds of proportions, but in construction, even agile is something which is not truly accepted. Rather, people are still coining with the idea whether agile can work for them or not. But the benefits of agile, which has been observed from software development and its adoption in telecommunication in recent years, it is highly likely that in a very short time, the whole construction industry will have to be revolutionized. But the problem is, construction industry is not ready for that. They are still tied up with the old style of traditional project management, and they are very rigid about it. And they do have a reason for that as well. In software industry, their product is not tangible. They have software which cannot be held in hand. It can only be seen on a monitor or something like that. Therefore, they probably can play around with the ideas of agile, and they can benefit also very clearly out of it. In construction, they have got tangible outputs. If you are constructing a bridge, there's a physical bridge in front of you. You can walk on it, or you can, physically touch it and things like that. And at the same time, becoming agile or doing agile in construction is something which looks like a far-fetched story. It probably, people generally suppose and think is not meant for construction. So here, what I mean to introduce is that agile is very much applicable to construction industry. All the benefits it has bestowed on the software development industry can very conveniently be reaped by the construction industry and in general the engineering industry, all kinds of engineering. But here I want to call those who are interested in developing this kind of a methodology. I can give you an idea how it can work, and we probably can work out a mechanism for developing this methodology and teaching it to construction industry in general. We are not going to be focused on the deliverable in a lean agile environment. As far as the agile is concerned, this talks about high order of flexibility, servant leadership, your employees getting the full authority of doing what they are doing. They actually are the planners of their work. The planning is not to be done at top or somewhere else. Moreover, there is no fixed plan which has to be followed for the whole project. There could be an outline plan, but it is going to be extremely flexible, and we will entertain the customer all the time. Just imagine I am talking about changing your mindset. I know whatever I am saying, for an engineer, it is a challenge. They won't accept it on its face value. But let us just assume that you have an environment in which you have to construct something and the customer is not really clear about their requirements. But whatever requirements they have given, this is enough to start something. So you can have an outline plan, the initial conception of the whole project, and have an outline plan, have created some releases in which the various portions of the product would be delivered. But that is all not exactly what is to be followed. This is highly changeable, and we are welcoming the change. Anytime customer want to change anything in the whole structure, we welcome that. Now, how can we do that? If I'm construction of building, it has to have a foundation. Foundation have to have the strength to carry the whole building. And now you are talking about changing the whole design of the building. And how can I make a foundation befitting a future requirement? Naturally, this seems like a far-fetched story, but still, let us think about it. And if we think, we'll find the way out. You see, what we can do is, we are sure about those things we need to do in the near future. So we will put all the requirements into a box and prioritize them, and this is called the product backlog. And we will manage very small teams, and we will give them very small iterations. And iteration is in which they are, this is a fixed time box in which they have to perform. They are not given any objective to meet. Say your time box, you are a team of 10 people and you have a time box of one month. So in this 1 month, you are not at all supposed to create a product. Nobody is asking you to create a product. But all the requirements are lying there in the product backlog. You have to prioritize them first and then pick the highest value items as the team thinks they can do, they can perform. So they would pick up that much task and take it to their iteration, and they will plan it themselves. Only this much portion of the work to be done in 1 month will be planned in detail, and only that will be done by the team itself, not by the project manager or somebody up there, but the team which is going to perform. And I must tell you, this concept is already there in civil engineering since 1970s. In 1970, there was a methodology which was called last planner. Last planner, or they also used to call it last planner first. That meant that the person who actually has to do the job should actually plan the job. Last planner, the person who has to do, is usually considered to be the last planner. Everybody else has planned things, and this guy is then ultimately going to put in his bit at the end. No, we are saying last planner first. So when the last planner first is there, that means that the last planner is actually involved in the planning of the whole thing, right? So this last planner is actually working in this iteration, and they would say, okay, we can perform these 10 jobs in this 1 month, and those 10 would be actually the 10 small requirements counting towards the whole product of the construction. So they would try to perform them as to the best of their knowledge, best of their efficiency and effectiveness, and because they have committed by themselves and nobody has ordered them to do it, there is a high likelihood that they would be able to perform better. Not only that, we are ensuring the agile leader will ensure that this team will not face any hurdles, no delays in delivery of any equipment, items, or any resource which is required by this team. Whenever they require, it must be made available. This is the responsibility of the agile leader. He is not going to be micromanaging them. He will just be facilitating them. He would be a servant leader. So that you can call him the supervisor. So this supervisor guy is only making the life easier for them, and this is a self-motivated team who would not only tell what they will do, they will commit to that, but they will do their level best to fulfill that promise. Right? So if they can perform the job well and good because they promised it and they did it, if they cannot, then probably they overestimated, and whatever they overestimated, maybe one or two jobs which are left to be done will be taken back to the product backlog and will again be presented in the next iteration. And even if the team has performed the job earlier than required, they will themselves go to the product backlog and pick up more tasks, and that way they will be performing at the optimum speed with the most efficient and effective manner, while only this much work which was being done in one iteration was being locked. Rest everything is open to change. So they could change anything into the planning which is to be done later. The outline plan can be changed, the requirements can be brought in, we can do anything with them. If you think about it closely, you will find that this is very much possible, although there are certain caveats which we can discuss. But if you can start thinking from this point of view, if you can start doing things in very small chunks, you still will be able to perform it. Don't try to carry the load of the whole elephant all along with you in the project. Just do it by bits and pieces, and that's how you will be able to perform it. So this is a general idea how a project can be done. Now, I am not going to be adopting the terminology or the standards of used in software industry. Like you see, they have say 2 to 10 people or 12 people in their team. I am not restricting it to that, but I am just asking to keep that team to the minimum. From the construction point of view, what is the minimum you can perform with? Moreover, keep the iteration size to the minimum. If you think that you can have your iteration size less than a month, that is most welcome. Even if you can reduce it to week or less than a week, I would be pleased. But you know that in construction probably very small iterations would not be workable, because an iteration should be able to have a number of tasks and a number of functionalities which will be accomplished in that, and the iteration size should be dependent on that. So whatever kind of construction work you are doing, it all will depend upon that, the complexity and the workload. How are you going to divide it? As far as large construction projects are concerned, don't worry, we can have as many agile teams working simultaneously. There is absolutely no problem. We can scale the same model up and we can perform excellently. So if you have any questions, we can talk about it. If you have any suggestions, we can talk about it, we can discuss it, and we can formulate it into a formal document, a formal methodology, and probably then we can start teaching people in the field of construction how they can do it. And I can foresee very conveniently and very easily that we can reduce the time of normal construction projects to as low as 1/4, and we can increase the speed of work. We can have much more satisfied customers, and this could be maybe 200 to 300 times better response from the customers and stakeholders. So if you have any ideas about it, or you want to discuss more, I can explain anything about this thing and we can further build on this talk. So if you have any questions and all that, we will be available and we will talk about it again. So far so good. Thank you very much for listening to me, and take care. Allah Hafiz.